Okay. Ukrainian President Zelensky pored over a once classified map of vast deposits of rare earths and other critical minerals during an interview with Reuters. This was part of a push to appeal to Donald Trump's penchant for a deal. Donald Trump, whose administration is pressing for a rapid end to Ukraine's war with Russia, said on Monday he wanted Ukraine to supply the US with rare earths and other minerals in return for financially supporting its war effort. So what did Zelensky say? Zelensky said that if we are talking about a deal, then let's do a deal. Zelensky has indicated his intent to reach a deal with Donald Trump, emphasizing Ukraine's need for security guarantees from its allies. As part of any settlement, Zelensky made this statement. You see, Ukraine floated the idea of opening its critical minerals to investment by allies last autumn, as it presented a victory plan that sought to put it in the strongest position for talks and force Putin to the table. At least this was the intent of Zelensky. Now, yesterday Zelensky said that less than 20% of Ukraine's mineral resources, including about half its rare earth deposits, were under Russian occupation. This is a questionable claim because Russia has already occupied most of the mineral-rich regions like Donetsk, Luhansk, etc. Rare earths are important in the manufacturing of high earth magnets, electric motors, and consumer electronics. Zelensky said that Putin could open these resources to its allies like North Korea and Iran, who are also so-called enemies of United States. Zelensky said that he needs help to stop Putin and protect what he has, that is the very rich Dnipro region and central Ukraine. You see, Russian troops have been gaining ground in the east for months, throwing huge resources into an unrelenting offensive, while Kyiv's much smaller army grapples with a shortage of soldiers and frets over future weapon supply from NATO. Zelensky unfurled a map on a table in the heavily defended president's office in Kyiv, showing numerous mineral deposits, including a broad strip of land in the east marked as containing rare earths. Around half of it looked to be on the Russia side of the current front lines. So clearly there's a contradiction between what he claimed. So he said that Ukraine had Europe's largest reserves of titanium, essential for the aviation and space industry, and uranium used for nuclear energy and weapons. Many of the titanium deposits were marked in northwestern Ukraine, far from the fighting. Ukraine has rapidly returned its foreign policy approach to align with the transnational worldview set out by the new President of the United States. But Zelensky emphasized that Kyiv was not proposing giving away its resources, but offering a mutually beneficial partnership to develop them jointly. A fancy term of basically giving away the resources of your territory. So Zelensky said that the Americans helped him the most and therefore the Americans should earn the most. Yes, he actually said that. And he also said that Americans should have the priority and Americans will have the priority. And he would also like to talk about this with Donald Trump. He said that Russia knew in detail where Ukraine's critical resources were from Soviet-era geological surveys, and that had been taken back to Moscow when Kyiv gained independence in 1991. So Zelensky says that Putin knows where all the rare earth minerals are there in Ukraine. Now, Zelensky also said that Kyiv and White House are discussing the idea of using Ukraine's vast underground gas storage sites to store US liquefied natural gas. Yes. He said that he knows that Trump administration is very interested in it. He said that he's ready and willing to have contracts for LNG supplies to Ukraine. He said that these will be used as a hub for whole of Europe. So Zelensky clearly wants a meeting with Donald Trump before the US and Russia talks, which are expected to happen sometime soon. Now, this particular interview of Zelensky comes days before the expected meeting between Donald Trump and Zelensky. In fact, there are rumors that in the Munich Security Conference in February 14-16, there could be a meeting, although their envoy has denied that. Now, the thing is that Zelensky is going to meet Keith Kellogg, who is the Trump's special envoy for Russia and Ukraine in the Munich Security Forum. And that is where these deals are supposedly going to be signed. Zelensky said that it is essential that he met Trump in person before the US president meets Russian president, because Zelensky fears that otherwise it will look like a dialogue about Ukraine without Ukraine. Now, we've heard that before. Like, Russians have said that the peace talks have happened without Russia being on the table, right? So Zelensky fears the same. Trump said on Friday that he expected to talk to Zelensky next week. Zelensky said his own priority would be raising Ukraine's need for security guarantees as a part of any deals to prevent Putin from launching so-called another invasion in future, that he said. But in general, though, it was vital the West determined a broad strategy before entering into talks with the Moscow, according to various analysts. Zelensky said that he's already having regular contacts between Trump's team and Trump's national security advisor, Michael Waltz. In fact, I quote, he said that every day we have contacts, we talk about general things, but the specifics will come in a little later. This is what Zelensky said. So Trump's push comes amid a very advancing Russian assault these days, where Russians have basically taken over Ukrainian logistics hub of Pokrovsk. And on the battlefield, Zelensky confirmed for the first time that his troops had launched a new offensive on Thursday, advancing almost 2.5 kilometers, he claims, further into Russia's Kursk region. There are question marks whether he has actually done that, but he actually, again, is claiming that. Now, meanwhile, Russia had reported a Ukrainian strike in the area that day, but said it was repelled. So there are contradicting statements. Zelensky said that now this is a new news, okay? Zelensky has said that thousands of North Korean troops are again returning on the front line. Yes, he said that the North Korean troops who were taken away now are again coming back after a pause of weeks. So this is a sensational disclosure. Next week, Zelensky intends to launch a lucrative recruitment contract to entice young men aged 18 to 24 is what Zelensky said. So I don't know what he meant by lucrative, right? I mean, especially when they're kidnapping people to fight for their war. So more young men will be now sacrificed in this war. So Trump is having his eyes on the rare earth minerals in Ukraine. So now this war has taken a very ugly turn where people are not leaving anything to imagination. Cat is out of the bag. Both Russia and America are fighting for rare earth minerals in Ukraine. It's a very sad story that millions of Ukrainian men and women have lost their lives defending their country from America and Russia both. Now, Russia has control of large section of the mineral-rich Donetsk, Luhansk, and Zaporozhye region so far. What Zelensky has said that Russia only has 20% of the rare earth minerals of Ukraine. I think it's a wrong statement. Russia has 20% land of Ukraine, and that 20% land contributes to more than 50% of Ukraine's rare earth minerals, according to various articles. So it's definitely more than 20%. So what Donald Trump is trying to do here is that he's trying to salvage and pick up whatever he can do in this war. And also, Donald Trump has said that Europe has spent just $100 billion and America has spent $300 billion. So Donald Trump is saying that the $200 billion extra that Europe has not spent, Donald Trump wants to collect from Zelensky through rare earth minerals. And that seems to be a plan of Donald Trump. And Zelensky has said, yes, understandably, he doesn't have an option. He has to say yes to Donald Trump. And so now United States is going to exploit rare earth mineral resources of Ukraine. There is going to be probably some kind of ceasefire attained. But I doubt whether Putin would leave land because Vladimir Putin has already taken control of all of these regions, Zaporozhye, Donetsk, Luhansk, and even Kharkiv. It's just a matter of another few kilometers where he could get even more natural resources of Ukraine. So the whole idea that Donald Trump wants to end the war, a bit questionable, because on one hand, Donald Trump is saying that he wants the rare earth minerals of Ukraine in exchange of weapons being given to Zelensky. That means if Zelensky agrees to those rare earth minerals, that means more weapons will be supplied to Zelensky. So how will the war end? So this whole peace plan that we are hearing about seems to be more of an eyewash right now, because what we are seeing is that Trump is ready to do a deal for weapons as long as he gets his rare earth minerals. Even Europe is not showing any signs of coming to the negotiating table. Let's wait and watch. I'll be tracking this very closely. Do subscribe to my channel and like this video. This is DG from the Macro Story. See you in the next video.